Dingus and Dongus.
Hey, Michael.
Episode 23.
Hello.
Hello, Internet.
How are you today?
Are you beeping and booping? I'm so glad, because now I can just copy that and put it in the front. Also,
There
instead
you
of
go.
making my own fart noise. Thank you for contributing.
Have you been making your own fart noises?
Yeah. And it's like, how do I want to change this fart noise? And then I make a fart noise.
Excellent.
I have not read any Judge Dredd before. We went with Essential Judge Dredd America.
Yeah.
There were several authors, so it's a collection.
Mm-hmm.
Something Wagner, Josh Wagner,
I know Garth Ennis was on it.
Garth Ennis in there, Alan Grant,
Mm-hmm.
bunch of different writers.
From what I could tell, these collections of stories weren't necessarily published in sequence.
No,
They were kind of skipped around a bit.
I think these were just cherry picked and then
Right.
put into an Essential Judge Dredd collection.
Right.
Right? Yeah.
I thought it was really good and also really depressing.
Yep. In a nutshell, that's it. I liked how the front end, I want to say there was 2 different arcs in the front end and 2 different arcs at the back end.
Mm-hmm.
That felt to me, I'd have to do research, I don't know. Like they were maybe older Judge Dredd stories.
Yeah.
It was all a continuous overarching storyline,
Right.
different writers, and then the middle segment, America or whatever, which was a longer story, felt and seemed like it might have been a newer story. Just with the art style seemed more modern, I guess.
I could see that.
I have no clue. I have no basis. I
Right.
just assume. It's like, that's my first thought.
But the entire overarching storyline for this collection is that Mega City 1, people are getting fed up with authoritarian state, and they want to hold elections.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Down with judges, up with democracy.
Yeah. Well, to spoil everything, democracy lost.
Yeah. in a bout of democracy,
Yeah.
democracy lost.
Yeah. When given the choice, people chose the judges.
Yeah.
And I guess a lot of the themes in this collection, it's eerily similar to stuff we're seeing today.
Yeah. I was just getting upset reading it. It's like, this is bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, this is now.
Right.
Fuck.
We're a couple nukes away from Mega City 1 right now.
Yeah. Well, coming back to actual story stuff, I've never read any Judge Dredd, and I also don't know what the world is. I know the megacities.
Mm-hmm.
I know there's wasteland apocalypse crap outside the megacities, and also they occupy space.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the world of Judge Dredd is like.
I think there's a nuclear war.
And it's just
It's
death.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of wastelands and then mega cities
Right.
where the rest of humanity lives, essentially.
So I would assume then those also have the same judges, and
I
it's
don't
a
know.
network of judges.
Maybe.
What about That's what I don't know what the
Yeah.
world is, right?
Right.
I don't know if there's exiled nomads in the wastelands.
You think British judges wear the wigs?
They have to, but it's not. The wigs are floofy, or they look floofy and curly and stuff, but it's not actual wig hair.
Right.
It's like the shoulder pad that Judge has. That's like a metal
Right.
rolls. It's
Right.
that. They just wear that on their head.
Oh, how wonderfully impractical.
But yeah, that was my first takeaway. Was this is not far from reality.
Yeah, man.
I mean, it's over exaggerated for a comic,
Right.
obviously, but it's like, oh, the root of evil is there.
Yeah, it's like a lot of it was about people who weren't being as oppressed, because really everybody was being oppressed.
Right.
But people who weren't as oppressed choosing not to do anything about the oppression that's going on because at least I know where I stand,
Yeah.
which is fucking bullshit.
Yeah. There was one moment, I'm pretty sure it was Dredd himself. There was a democracy march about to happen, and like head judge man, chief, I don't know what they're called, I forget, basically instructs Dredd to shut it down.
Yeah.
And Dredd's like, does that mean I can break the law to shut it down? Is how I read it. And the guys said on this instance, you make the law.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, fucking cops do that all the time.
Right. And I mean, that's like a central, like, through line through Judge Dredd, right? Is like, I am the law.
Right.
Like,
Drop it.
Yeah. I was actually like, when I was reading it, it was like, all right, when am I gonna get to see a Drock? And it took a while.
We got one, if I recall.
Yeah.
Just one.
Yep.
Also, what is Grud?
I think it's God.
That's my assumption.
Yeah, the way they were using
in the context of
yeah.
it. But Grud is not explained, right? Like,
no.
It's just basically replaced the word God.
Yeah.
So maybe, I don't know.
So, so maybe they could sneak it past the censors.
Yeah.
Judge Dredd sneaking past the censors. Do you have any favorite storylines?
Not really.
No.
I liked them. I liked them all.
Yeah. I think the one that hit me hardest was that America story.
Yeah.
Just because that end.
Yeah.
It was like, oh.
That was a pretty impressive little ending there.
Yeah, that's a hell of a tag to end the story on. Basically, the America storyline is about this freedom fighter named America. She's a female, and her best friend Benny, I think was his name. It's told from his perspective, and he's always kind of the quote-unquote upstanding citizen, doesn't want to cause too much trouble.
Yeah, he wants to make it with the rules that are defined in these megacities.
Right.
And he basically.
Yeah. Basically, he becomes super rich and famous singing, as a lounge singer, I suppose.
Yep. Well, and then America basically takes up the mantle as a democracy freedom fighter and gets deeper and deeper and deeper into this culture. They're separated for a while, doing their own lives. They eventually reconvene, and she sleeps with him and says, "We've always had this thing. Can I have some money, please?" And goes to set up a judge or
a bombing. They were
yeah.
going to destroy the Statue of Liberty, not trying to kill anybody by doing so,
right?
But as a symbolic act, like there is no liberty.
Oh, also forgot the moment before that where he found her in like a red light district or something.
Oh yeah.
And that ended up being a setup by her and her democracy freedom fighters to kill judges.
Right.
And he didn't know. He was unaware.
Right.
And because he was there and saw them, one of the other freedom fighters shot him in the throat.
Yeah.
He survived through certain... It's a pretty cool scene. Like, you see the throat
just
ripped
torn
out, basically. Throughout the story, he survives with surgery, has modifications. And I guess they implanted a recording of his voice.
Right.
Which was interesting. And then the bombing situation came, where he outed them to the judges.
Right.
And there was a cool scene because there's Statue of Liberty, and then behind Statue of Liberty is like an even more huge, ginormous judge statue.
It's like 3 or 4 times as tall.
Yes. But then you see after the betrayal, there's judges shooting these freedom fighters, and they're up in the crown of the Statue of Liberty, and it just looked really cool to me.
Yeah, it's really cool scenes. It's just, it's so fucking depressing, because, like, and just really dark, because this Benny guy has basically been in love with America.
This whole time.
Yeah, since they were kids.
Right.
And because he essentially betrayed her, she dies at the end. And his way of honoring her is to take over her body.
Yep. implants himself into her body.
Yeah. I was like,
That fucking
that's
weirdo.
kind of, whoa, that's just, I don't know.
Yeah,
That's fucking creepy.
it
man.
is creepy.
I mean, it's like, and then like, he continues his lounge singing career in her body, assuming using her voice as well.
But his name still.
Yeah.
So
It's just, I don't know, man. That's gross.
yeah. Well, there's an underlying just darkness throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
There was one panel I remember seeing, and it may have been the America story, and I believe there's two characters. I think it was Benny in America on the bridge when they were younger, and there's a sign that says, "Beware jumpers," or "Notice jumpers.
Oh, yeah.
Your family will be charged for any damage you cause by jumping,
Right.
or your next of kin." I was like, really? So if someone jumps and does something, you're going to charge someone else.
Right? Just
Like,
kick somebody while they're down.
Yeah. I was like, oh, my son just committed suicide. Oh, I have to pay all this money and damages?
Right?
Fuck you.
Or into the ISO cubes you go.
Yep.
Fuck that.
Juve cubes for the youngins.
Yeah.
I thought that sounded nifty.
Juve cubes.
Juve cube.
You think it's just smaller?
Yeah.
They're the exact same, it's just smaller.
Yep.
So what did you think of the art overall?
I liked it.
Yeah.
Less so with the America story. It wasn't bad. I still liked the art for the America story.
Right.
It was just more painterly, maybe.
Okay.
The surrounding art, I really enjoyed. It just felt like quintessential, like 80s, 90s comic book art.
Yeah. I do have to point out one particular scene is like a really big panel of Dredd fighting another judge. And it looked ridiculous because nobody throws punches like that.
Yeah.
It was like he was throwing a punch but then leaning back at the same time.
Yes.
So I was like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
It's like, are you fucking, like, that's how I imagine a drunk person would punch.
Yeah. It's like,
But then you also see, like, a thwack, and the guy, like, turning his head, like, all the way around.
Yeah.
It's pretty fucking ridiculous, which got me thinking, like, maybe the dirty secret of, like, the judges is that none of them were actually trained in any sort of combat. And they're all actually just incompetent people just given guns and badges.
Like cops. That probably exacerbates the whole situation and why they have to be shady and just lock everyone up.
Yeah.
Being little fuck faces.
Yeah, because they have no idea.
They know what they're doing. Like, oh man. That's like the genesis of how this all started. And then over the years it just turned into the more tyranny.
Right. They gotta protect their dirty little secret.
We don't know how to fight.
You know what would be, well, I don't know. It would have been kind of funny if it was like open hand slaps.
Yes. It's like
but I think this particular collection is a pretty good intro to the Judge Dredd world.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess they're called progs instead of issues or something.
Oh, are they?
Something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I could see how they could end up being very samey if it's similar to how this was set up.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, oh, oppressive megacity judge guy. Someone tries to overthrow that. I could see them recycling that story loop over and over.
Right.
I don't know. I can't say.
Yeah. I mean, there's decades of material, so.
Right. And this was really enjoyable.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. I'm glad I finally, I've been meaning to for I don't know how long, read Judge Dredd. I'm glad I finally read Judge Dredd.
Yeah, it was a very enjoyable read. This time we went with Green Carnation, Leaves of Yesteryear. Came out, I believe, last year.
Yeah, 2020.
Yeah, 2020. I fucking loved it.
That first track especially, I absolutely 150% loved that track in particular.
it's so catchy.
It is, but it's not catchy in a pop tune sense.
No, but it's like these melodies that just like work their way into your brain.
Yep.
Without like being too, overly poppy or saccharine.
Right.
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
It's about 5 songs long. They actually included a re-recording of a song from their very first album, "Journey into the End of the Night."
Okay.
Yeah, that's I believe the song's called "My Dark Reflections of Life and Death." It's
track 4?
4. Yeah, the really long one.
Yeah.
And it reminded me, well, so when I listened to that track, I actually didn't realize it was a re-recording of the first album because I've listened to the first album twice maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was talking to Matt about it, and he mentioned to me that, yeah, it was, just a re-recording of the song off the first album. So I decided to go back to listen to that first album, and it was a very interesting experience. I wouldn't say I really liked that first album.
No.
But within that first album, you could hear, like, it's almost like a demo for Light of Day, Day of Darkness to me. Like, they were like
okay,
playing around with those sounds that they were using on that album,
figuring it out.
Yeah,
kind of.
Yeah,
okay,
figuring out who they are. After listening to that first album, I went into a little rabbit hole of re-listening to all their fucking albums. And god damn it, I love this band so much.
I'm not super familiar. I did really enjoy how I got a sense of melancholy and a level of sadness listening to this, which was great because I could see myself listening to this when I need that type of feeling or whatever.
Right.
Instead of I get that from Doom or Death Doom or Funeral Doom, a version of Doom, which this is definitely not.
No.
But I still felt that melancholy. It's like, oh, this
Right.
is really interesting and awesome that I'm getting that feeling from an entirely different genre of music for me. And the lyrics for that first song were fucking great.
Yeah. But, I mean, on the note of, like, the feeling of, sadness, like, it fits the name of the album really well. Like, I mean, for me, it's, like, it invokes the feeling of nostalgia. Like,
Really?
yeah, for me at least. It's
Right.
like we're reminiscing on something that's gone.
Okay.
Yeah. That's kind of what I got from it.
So is your nostalgia related to sadness?
I mean, I suppose it could.
For anyone, really.
Yeah. It just kind of depends on what I'm nostalgic for.
Got like that steak you made a couple weeks ago or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. God damn it. Why did I eat that? Should have saved it.
I did, again, just that first track alone. I almost wish they would have put that first track in slot 2 or 3.
Yeah.
So, like, I wouldn't just be looping them. Anyway, I appreciated that it had this amazing crescendo. It just keeps building and building and building at the end. Wow!
Yeah.
Like, there's a solo. Like, the whole song's happening. Things are cool. Lyrics are awesome. Then the guitar solo, which is good. And then after that is just this elevation of awesomeness. And then the track ends.
Yep. These guys, like, really know how to write songs.
Yeah.
Like, really fucking well. And, I mean, it's going back to what I was saying, like, diving back into their earlier stuff. Like, you see that all over their discography. Like, just, like, amazing songwriting. Like,
yeah.
The Quiet Offspring, which is, I think, their 1, 2, 3, 4, fourth album. A lot of it follows a very simple verse-chorus format, but it's done so ridiculously well.
Yeah.
Fucking love it.
Well, that's kind of how the second track was too.
Yeah.
And I was hooked with it because of the chorus and the vocal melodies within the chorus.
Mm-hmm.
Going back to what you were saying earlier, is fucking catchy as hell.
Yep.
So, okay. So I could see how what you just said, as far as verse chorus situation goes, was looped into track 2.
Yeah. It's overall, it's a great album. It's a little long, but it doesn't feel long.
It did to me a little bit.
Yeah?
I could have done without the Sabbath cover.
Right. I forgot about the Sabbath cover.
It really, for the most part, I can do without Sabbath covers in general, unless you're Brutality.
Yeah.
And then track 4 that you were talking about is I kind of peter out. I listen to the album and my brain kind of checks out a little bit.
Yeah.
Right around that time that goes in.
Gotcha.
So, man, the first 3 tracks catch me, and then the last 2 aren't bad.
Mm-hmm.
It just lose my interest a little bit.
Now, on the topic of the Sabbath cover, Solitude, did you ever listen to the older version?
Mm-hmm.
What'd you think of that one?
Meh.
Okay. I mean, like, for me, like, their Green Carnation's take on the Sabbath cover was kind of ruined by Over's version, because they kind of have it's not exactly a similar style, but they were kind of going for a similar thing where it's really low key.
Right.
And I just thought Over did it so much better on Shadow of the Sun. Yeah.
I'll just listen to the Sabbath version.
Were you there at Prog Power when they played?
No.
Okay. That's still one of my favorite, like, top 5, if not top 3 concert experiences.
Nice.
Where they played all of Light of Day.
Nice.
It's so fucking awesome.
I remember you, after this was brought up what we're doing, I remember you being excited about their appearance at Prog Power.
Yeah.
I had no frame of reference. Had I known, I probably would have gone and seen it, but I didn't know.
I think it was like, for people who aren't aware, Light of Day, Day of Darkness is their second album where it's one song that's an hour long. And they pulled it off live at Prog Power. It was fucking amazing. Fucking loved it. And I think if you ever get a chance to see Green Carnation live, even though they might not be playing all of Light of Day, you should go see them.
Yes. Beg them to play the first track off this album.
Leaves of Yesteryear.
Yeah.
Do it.
Dingus and Dongus.
Hey, Marco.